Okay, so now let's look at this X-linked dominant trait. So this pedigree is showing X-linked dominant inheritance. And what criteria do you look for in looking at these types of pedigrees? What you'll look for is the fact that you have an affected father here, and all of his daughters are affected. So that's a hallmark of an X-linked dominant trait. If you saw this father having an unaffected daughter, then it could not, in fact, be X-linked dominant. That's not the case here. So this is an X-linked dominant trait. So what do we know about the genotypes of individuals on X-linked dominant traits? So we know that all affected females are going to be of the genotype X big A, X big A, or X big A, X little a. We know that all unaffected females are going to be of the genotype X little a, X little a. We know that all affected males are going to have the genotype X big A, Y. And we know that all unaffected males will have the genotype X little a, Y. So given this information, let's start to assign genotypes. So first we know that all unaffected females have to have the genotype X little a, X little a. So let's fill in those individuals. And now for the males, we know that all affected males have to have the genotype X big A, Y. Right? Now unaffected males have to be the genotype X little a, Y. Okay, so now all that we're left with are our affected females that could be of genotype either X big A, or X big A, X little a. So let's first start by looking at this pair that let us determine that this pedigree was actually X-linked dominant. So we know that we have this affected father that has two affected daughters, right? The only thing he can have would be affected daughters. But we know also that his wife is unaffected, which means her genotype is X little a, X little a. The only thing that this mother has to give to her daughters is an X little a. And the only thing that the father has to give to his daughters is an X big A. So that means that both of these daughters must be X big A, X little a. They must both be heterozygous for the trait. So now let's move on and consider the other part of this pedigree here. So we have an affected daughter that in this case comes from an affected mother and an unaffected father. The only thing that this father has to give to his daughter is an X little a. But because she is affected, we know that she must be X big A, X little a. So she has to be a heterozygote for this trait. Now let's look at the mother. Okay, so this mother has both affected and unaffected sons. The only way that she could have an unaffected son is if she has an X little a. But the only way she could be affected and have an affected son is if she also has an X big A. So we know that she as well must be a heterozygote for this trait. So now we've determined all the genotypes for the individuals in this pedigree demonstrating X-linked dominant pattern of inheritance.